So there were some interesting details that were coming out yesterday from both Mitchell Rales and from Josh Harris.
So different because Dan Snyder never said anything.
No, it's definitely a different era with the new ownership group. Like they're trying to be as transparent as possible, let people in on, what the decision making is about, what the status of the name is going forward. And Mitchell Rales talked about that yesterday. And in a nutshell, he basically said, the ship has sailed on Redskins. If you guys think that we're going to go back...
Keep getting your signatures on your petition.
Right. You can do whatever you want.
Fine and dandy.
He's like, we're not into divisive culture any longer.
That issue is settled.
Right. So any of the fan base that is clinging to the old name that thinks it's going to come back, it's just not going to happen.
Now,
like you have to start looking forward at this point.
I saw some people on social media grasping. You can always tweet us at Junks Radio. It said, because what he also says is they're going to pay attention to what the fans say, right? I can't remember the exact phrasing in the comments that he made.
He said, what I can tell you is we're not focused on the previous name. That ship has sailed. We're not going to relitigate the past. We're about the future. We're about building the future and not having a divisive culture that we're engaged in.
But he goes on to talk about listening to the fans.
Yeah, he said the beauty is we have the time to look at all this stuff intelligently and make fan-based decisions.
So the graspers on social media were clinging to that.
Right.
That, the fans want Redskins back. But I'm sorry, it's preceded by the guy saying the ship has sailed.
Right.
Paraphrasing now.
Right.
But the future could also mean there's a different name. It's just not going to be Redskins.
Right. And I've been saying for months that
it's going to happen.
As soon as they can change the name, I feel like they will change the name. And I don't think it matters what they do on the field as the presently branded Commanders. They could win 14 games this year and go to the Super Bowl. And I don't think that has a bearing on whether they keep a bad team name into the future. Like, I think they want to put their own stamp on it, their own identity, and bring their own flavor to the name. Not have a relic from
How long
the
do they
Dan
have
Snyder
to keep
era.
the name? There's a limit. There's a minimum year limit.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
wanna
I think
say
it's 4 or 5 years.
Is it that long?
Once you change it.
Thought it was 3, but maybe you're right on 4.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's probably down the road, but it could still happen.
Right.
Unless they just go on a run and then everyone loves the Commanders and, it kind of grows on people.
Right, and they just decided juice isn't worth the squeeze to switch it again.
Right. I guess that's a possibility. But some people, like Cakes, believes it's no-brainer. They're going to change it at some point whenever it's eligible.
Could they go back to Washington Football Team? For whatever reason, my wife loves that name.
No.
You always wanted to be Washington Football Club, right?
I was kind of big on Washington Football Club, yes. I don't know why. That's weird because it sounds kind of like an English Premier League team.
Washington FC. It's unique. I like it.
Yeah,
I've always liked it, too.
Then you just sound like one of 10 random MLS teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're not. You're an NFL team where nobody else has that. It's kind of obviously a nod to those teams, or that style of naming a team. But it's, in my opinion, it's better than Red Tails.
No, definitely is.
Commanders might be better than Red Tails.
See, I think that's the danger zone of any name. If they switch off Commanders, you're going to get the same reaction where, yeah, maybe some people like it, but most people are not.
I don't know. But like you said, it's very interesting that, Magic Johnson was hanging out talking to the players.
Yeah,
on the practice field.
He was out in Ashburn yesterday.
With Harris.
Right.
On the field, talking to all the guys.
To be fair, Snyder used to go out to the practice field.
Yeah.
But he never talked to the media. You wouldn't hear
while.
comments like this from the owner. It's definitely a new vibe. They've got to sell out. Everything is trending in the right direction with this ownership group.
Right.